Hey guys, Justin and Doug here from All Angles. We're going to jump right into it actually. We had UFC Fight Night, Poirier versus Gaethje this past Saturday night. We had Dustin Poirier getting the winner over Justin Gaethje, just fight of the year easily.
Yeah.
He's actually got, I believe that's what, 3 straight for Poirier?
Yep.
He's top 5 in that lightweight division now. Talking about him fighting Khabib for the title possibly, but
the question is though, does that really interest you? Does that really get the blood flowing? You know, we're talking about, fights with Conor and things like that. And just like Dustin Poirier is not, to me, something that would really move the needle. But it's a fight that needs to happen in the division. But that's the thing is there's so many guys that are kind of log jammed in there, and it's just you're just gonna have to pick one. You're gonna have to pick one, get it out of the way, on to the next one, and so on. I don't think that Dustin Poirier is going to beat Khabib. Like, I don't see that happening. But
plus all the stuff with Conor.
Yep.
We got to see what happens there, how that plays out for the rest of this year.
Yes.
Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, Tony Ferguson. I mean, how long is he out with his surgery? And then we got a fight to preview this week that could possibly affect that. Also, Eddie Alvarez has basically refused to fight Dustin Poirier, which I think is stupid. Like, Dustin Poirier has earned that fight. And
Eddie's got to fight eventually. Who's
got to fight? Exactly. So, like, you might as well fight Poirier, who's, like, in line for a title. Like, what are you doing?
He doesn't want to Kevin Lee.
No.
I mean, regardless if he wins, and we'll talk about it later with Edson Barboza, he wants a big money fight. And granted, yeah, he's been in the fight game for as long as he has. He wants a big payday. What do you want, the Conor rematch? I mean, a lot of cards have really got to be played there for that to even happen.
Well, my thing is if you think you're too good to fight Dustin Poirier, Barboza, Kevin Lee, you already beat Gaethje, what is left for you if you can't fight Khabib, Conor, or Tony? Like,
right.
You're just going to be sitting there waiting, and you're not getting any younger. Interesting thing about Eddie Alvarez, though, is he has 1 fight left on his deal, and then he wants some more money. So it'll be interesting. Like, is he even willing to go back to Bellator? Because that's really the only way I think he can get money. If he makes it known that he doesn't want to go back there, then it's like, what's the motivation to pay him? So it would be interesting.
Also, a surprise of the night, Alex Cowboy Oliveira submitting Carlos Condit.
Yeah.
And when you look at Carlos Condit, I don't know if you've seen his Instagram post this past week. So
I did.
Making the poster, it's kind of like he may be taking another sabbatical that he's taken before. He's going to kind of reflect, be with family for a while. Like me and you have discussed, Bellator's probably a good place for him right now in his career.
I think Bellator would be good. The thing is about him, though, is he doesn't look like he's completely lost his step. I think, honestly, a lot of it is just his confidence, just mental. Like, because he still has the ability to fight. It's just, you normally don't see Carlos Condit get finished, and you normally don't see Carlos Condit get dominated anywhere. And he kind of been dominated on both sides on the ground. Stand up, he did okay, but like with Neil Magny, he didn't have much of a shot there either. So I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird time for him because he's not used to just being in limbo and being on a losing streak and all that. So I think mentally it's wearing him down, and the fact that he's only getting older, it doesn't look good for him to keep fighting.
And speaking of someone else who's actually coming up besides Cowboy Oliveira, who he has his runs where he'll make a run for it. I think he'll break back into the rankings with that win. But then you have a guy like Israel Adesanya getting another win, this time over Marvin Vettori.
Yep.
This being a split decision, though, were you impressed with the fight, or what is your take on Israel?
As much as he talks, he needed a better performance, in my opinion. I mean, he's been talking a big game. I think that he could be a star, and they want him to be a star. He's 13-0 now, undefeated in a division that could use some legit guys. But man, when he got taken down, his wrestling, like he doesn't look like he's ready for those top level fighters. So I don't know. I'm not sold on him. If anything, that fight kind of made me back up a little bit. So well, I don't know about that. So. We'll see. I mean, he might just had a bad night in the office, and he knows he needs to learn. He said he was surprised by Marvin's head movement. He didn't expect him to have that type of head movement. And that kind of threw everything off because he thought he was going to be able to land clean shots easy, and he wasn't. So.
And he called himself out about it, too.
Yep.
So, just slow burn with him, one fight at a time.
Absolutely.
Michelle Waterson defeating Courtney Casey. Another split decision there. Not really much to talk about either.
Fight could have went either way on that one. The split decision's justified on that one. The Israel one, I thought Israel won the fight, but yeah, it could have gone either way. And I don't really know what's next for Michelle Waterson. I just think she needed to win and she got it.
Superstar Shakeup.
Yeah.
So who do you think between Raw and SmackDown? Obviously, general consensus seems to be SmackDown really stole the Shakeup this year.
Yeah. But honestly, like, if you look at it, I mean, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, Drew McIntyre, which I think is a big one. I don't understand the teaming of Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. A lot of people said Shawn Michaels just got his Diesel, but I don't see it that way. There's just not... There's a lot of mid-card talent that went to Raw. So either these guys are getting a big push or it's just going to be logjam for the Intercontinental title. I don't know.
Just no one standing out as far as Raw is concerned.
Agreed.
And when you flip over to SmackDown, you have obviously big surprise being Samoa Joe.
Yep.
Jeff Hardy, who won the U.S. title on Raw, takes that back to SmackDown. Miz is going back to SmackDown.
Yep.
You have Sheamus and Cesaro to add to that tag division. You have Sandy coming up from NXT.
Yep.
In SmackDown, when you really look at even CM Almas, even NXT,
yeah, that's huge.
As well.
That's a big one.
When you look at the top guys on SmackDown, I don't know where CM Almas is going to fall on the line on the card there, but
he can wrestle.
Styles, Samoa Joe,
Daniel Bryan,
Nakamura, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to watch SmackDown.
Yeah.
So
and it's interesting too. Is like, how much longer is Sheamus going to be there? And which means is Cesaro going to go back to being a singles wrestler? You have Jeff Hardy. It's just a lot of guys could be in that main event. And then they pick Big Cass to be like the guy.
That's the one thing I didn't like. Like, I'm just hoping the feud with Daniel doesn't drag out for too long.
It has pay-per-view written all over the damn thing, and I'm like, dude, the guy has come back from, like, career-ending injury, and the best you're going to do is have him face Big Cass? Like, no. That one frustrates me. Another one that frustrates me is Baron Corbin going to Raw. I think that he could possibly get a big push because they're looking for... to make superstars because, like I said, it's full of mid-card talent, and I'm not a big fan of Baron Corbin, and I have a feeling we might be spoon-fed this huge push for Baron Corbin.
It's been good with him, though. So they gave him Money in the Bank.
Yep.
He cashed in.
Yep.
They decided against doing that.
Yeah.
As far as even putting the idea of putting the title on him.
A lot of times this happens when they realize the guys aren't very good, but they try to push them so many times and they back up. I feel like that happened with Bray Wyatt a lot. Like it's this thing just kind of feels like the same type of deal. Oh, another one the SmackDown got was Asuka. So now Asuka is on the same show with Charlotte. Like, are you kidding me? So, and before SmackDown's women's division was awful. And now with Asuka and Charlotte and, Becky Lynch and some of the others that they have on there, it's a little bit better. And then on Raw, now maybe Sasha and, Bayley and all them can get more of a push with Ronda added on, So the good thing is I don't feel like either show sucks. Like, I feel like both have quality wrestlers to offer. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. There's just, certain trades you wouldn't mind seeing, like maybe Finn going to SmackDown since it's a wrestler show. Also, the whole entire Bullet Club would be on SmackDown with
Anderson Gallows.
AJ.
Do you put AJ right now, minus Balor? Or do you just keep them separate for the time being?
I'm keeping them separate. I mean, they already did it when AJ was heel.
Right.
And
AJ doesn't need us to face right now.
Yeah, so I wouldn't do that. But yeah, it's interesting that they're all on the same show. That's what I find interesting. And then, like I said, Raw, Seth Rollins. I mean, there's still guys on Raw. Also, like, where's Dean Ambrose going to go? My bet is he's going to Raw.
Right.
And so then you have all three members of the Shield on Raw. So There's still quite a bit on Raw, and now there's also the SmackDown really got a big boost too. So I'm happy with both shows.
Yeah, SmackDown's just fine.
Now that they're doing the joint pay-per-view thing too, I mean, cards should be loaded.
It really should be.
So maybe
interesting to see what's even going to be on the kickoff of these shows now.
Right. Cruiserweight matches.
So one thing that's really heating up recently is UFC's TV deal. Their deal with Fox ends at the end of the year. Variety broke the deal yesterday where supposedly right now Fox and ESPN are going 50-50 after the TV rights for the UFC. Where if this deal goes through, UFC's pretty much making about $200 million a year TV rights with their current Fox deal. Expires the end of this year. If this Fox and ESPN split deal goes forth, they're going to be making $300 million plus a year, a huge increase.
Right.
What this will call for is 15 live events that will stream on ESPN's new streaming service, ESPN Plus.
Mm-hmm.
About 20 or so live events between Fox and FS1 for the Fox part of it. And it makes you question if this deal actually goes through with ESPN Plus, the streaming service, what happens with the UFC Fight Pass that gets maybe 3 or 4 exclusive events and then a library that's already been there between Strikeforce and Pride and many other MMA fight promotions.
What's interesting too is when we're talking about streaming services, like, man, I mean, with wrestling, there's pretty much a streaming service for every promotion, and then I heard Disney is supposed to come out with its own streaming service. Disney owns ESPN, so is it two separate things? I'm guessing it would be. So you'd have to pay whatever the fee is for the Disney one, you'd have to pay whatever the fee is for the ESPN one. Hulu, Netflix, like, it really is becoming, you pick your own entertainment. But, you know, if it's good events, a lot of people will pick the ESPN streaming service. What I find interesting is, when did Fox and ESPN become so friendly? Is that because Disney is trying to buy Fox? And then, or they did buy Fox, I guess, and it hasn't officially gone through, but that's the only way this thing makes sense.
It's something that we haven't seen. Usually it's one big cable company going after TV rights.
Well, and they're beefing because the NFL decided to sign with Fox for
Thursday
the
Night Football.
Thursday Night Football and for the draft. So you can't even watch the NFL draft on ESPN this year. You can only watch it on Fox, and you can watch it on the NFL Network. That's it. So this one kind of seems weird to me. Like, when do cable companies split like this?
And I don't think Fight Pass necessarily will go away. It's been around for a couple of years. They've invested the money that they have invested in it. And besides the libraries being in there, I don't know. We don't know right now, at least, even if ESPN Plus gets the additional fight cards.
Yeah.
If they're still going to have Fight Pass exclusive cards as well, and of course doing that, they're going to have to sign more fighters, more weight classes, and then there's that whole new argument as well.
Well, here's the thing, though, is like, imagine the WWE Network would not offer any of the pay-per-views. Like, they would just offer their library, and they would just have, like, you know, like this Greatest Royal Rumble card. Like, you might get something like that every 4 months or something. Not even NXT. You don't even get NXT takeovers. A lot of people would not get the network. And I feel like with Fight Pass, it's pretty much what it is. So if they don't start offering live event incentives, like, more rapidly, I just don't see Fight Pass.
Really, you feel you have to watch it. Because like you're saying, it would turn into, if you remember, like the WWE 24/7 on demand.
Yeah.
Where it was there, but no one really went out of their way to go buy and watch old stuff.
Right.
It's a nice incentive to have once you actually purchase it for live events or exclusive content that's on that platform.
And then didn't Therese Owens or whatever, he's the one that reported that it was with NBC. And now it's Fox and ESPN, so I don't know if NBC's completely out of the running or
we don't know
what's going on.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah,
there's talks going on, and I'm sure the goal any day now is to announce some kind of deal. I remember back when UFC announced the initial Fox deal, they announced that in August before they started a few months later at the end of the year. So I would say at least by the end of summer we're going to know something for sure. We're not going to be in the dark until November, December.
Right.
They're not going to wait to the last minute. They're going to want to promote the change.
I agree.
If there's going to be that much of a drastic change, at least.
Well, then how much does it affect the WWE's possible television deal?
That's true, because they're already...
What if WWE gets the same deal?
Yeah.
Because ESPN has been covering WWE as well. And so what if WWE and Fox both come to a deal and it's the same thing with the UFC and they just pay huge money for both? Like, that would be crazy.
It's like you're saying, the talks with Fox and WWE have heated up as well.
Yep.
The only difference being WWE's deal doesn't expire to the end of 2019.
Right.
A little bit longer, but of course the deal with UFC, it's going to affect the WWE deal wherever they end up.
Especially since they're now starting to do kind of some cross promotions. They're lending fighters to wrestle, wrestlers fight. Like, it's weird.
Other minor things that have been thrown out there, the Ultimate Fighter possibly being canceled, and if it does, Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series possibly taking place. We'll see if that happens. Is there really that much of a difference between Tough and Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series? Really, for the one season we've seen for Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series is you don't get the drama that's in the house.
Yeah.
You get the fights of the guys trying to make their way to the UFC, and it's pretty cut and dry.
I mean, I even like the Dana looking for a fight. So I feel like the Dana looking for the fight or the Dana White Contender Series or whatever, like I feel like both of those have helped create stars, and almost more than Tough has. So I'm all for it. I think Tough is a dead concept. Nobody cares about Tough anymore. It's just one of those things that they're basically obligated to put on, so they keep doing it. But I don't see anybody excited to watch Tough. I think Tough debuts tonight, and I mean, I'm not watching it, and I can care less about it. You know, I'll watch the coaches fight, but I don't care about anything other than that.
Anybody that watches reality shows are in it for the drama at the end of the day, and Tough Religious, they lack that drama, especially with the coaches you have right now with Cormier and Miocic. They've already came out and said there's no drama here, it's about the fighters. In that scenario, then really just needs to be like a Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series.
Yep.
Another thing they're talking about in the rumor at least is pay-per-views getting cut down. I know you're a big fan of it. This happens from 12 pay-per-views a year down to 6 a year being a possibility as well, which, I'm on board, needs to happen. Make your pay-per-views, especially in the model and everything that's happening with streaming services and the platforms between Hulu, Netflix, whatever it may be, all the channels getting their own platforms at this point. Pay-per-views being cut down, and only make your pay-per-views ones that are like just truly stacked. That even if one of the top fights gets knocked off, you don't have to cancel the pay-per-view.
Well, and then that's what I'm saying. If you do stack it like that, then at least you're going to be able to keep elevating, swapping fights, something, but it won't just be a disaster. And I think that's the problem, is that they're too thin to just have 12 pay-per-views and everything go fine without a hitch. But if you only had 6, I think they'd be able to mix and match, and every fight would be a big fight, even the prelims. You know, like I'm talking UFC 100, UFC 200 type of cards, 6 of them a year. And then I think that would definitely generate, and it would also help the UFC in the buy rates, because their buy rates are really struggling. And I think that if they really focused on 6 big shows, everyone would feel like they have to get those shows because it's a big deal. It's a big pay-per-view. They need to watch it. I just think pay-per-view is dead. Like, TNA is doing a pay-per-view, and they want you to pay $40. Like, who's going to do that? Like, they should be putting their pay-per-view on their streaming service. You pay their weekly for their streaming service, or their monthly for their streaming service. You get the pay-per-view.
I agree.
That's the future.
Same thing with like Ring of Honor.
Yep.
They just launched Honor Club.
Yep, Honor Club.
That launched maybe just a few months ago.
Yep.
And even New Japan World.
Yep.
So I mean that's the thing that need to be done. Quit investing so much on pay-per-view. What's the buy rate going to be Sunday for? Was it Redemption for TNA for Impact Wrestling?
I mean, maybe 30,000. Like if that's lucky.
And that used to be the numbers that TNA brought in.
Right.
Back then. That was a good number for them.
Yeah, and I mean it may be way worse. I mean, I have no idea. I'm just throwing something off the top of my head, but I mean it's awful. Like to barely have a TV deal on Pop. Like, people don't watch Pop. People don't watch your weekly show for the most part. And then to put a pay-per-view, to charge basically almost triple for what other people are charging to watch a live show, it's not smart business at all. So,
cards this weekend, the main card is going to be UFC Fight Night, Barboza versus Lee. Edson Barboza versus Kevin Lee in the main event. Edson Barboza coming off the loss to Khabib and Nurmagomedov.
I mean, I don't even know if you can call it a loss. Like, that was a massacre. Like, Edson Barboza is not the same human being after that fight.
Yeah.
Like, he just got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that was Khabib's return fight.
Yeah.
I think the previous fight was the Michael Johnson fight at 205.
Yeah.
Kevin Lee coming off the loss to Tony Ferguson for the interim lightweight title, so he's been off the last 6 to 8 months. One of these guys, it's a big fight because one of them's going to stay on top of the heat. One's really going to drop down, taking back-to-back losses.
Yep.
Co-main event, Frankie Edgar and Cub Swanson, both guys coming off losses to Brian Ortega, who's the hottest thing right now in the featherweight division, minus Max Holloway. Frankie taking the fight controversially 3 days after his medical suspension is expiring.
Yeah.
And this is actually a rematch from, I believe, 4 years ago where Frankie picked up the W back then.
Well, it's the first time that he has actually been knocked out, even finished, right? So, like, and he got knocked out, and what happens is if you don't take enough time from being knocked out, that's when you really start to get into danger of, like, CTEs and further having concussion symptoms and all that stuff. And they're saying he's good, but, man, that's cutting it real close with your health. And let's not mention how many times he's been just knocked silly. Like, there's been times where he's been knocked out standing on his feet and end up recovering through grappling and whatever, like being able to regain composure.
And the great man fights.
Right. But, I mean, my goodness, I don't think this is a smart fight. I don't agree with it. And Cub Swanson, did he just recently re-sign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his last fight, was the previous one with Ortega.
Right. And I kind of feel like Cub would have been better off in Bellator. I just think that Cubs can only get so far. But we'll see. That's how you definitely feel after Brian Ortega went through him, but then Brian Ortega went through Frankie Edgar like nothing. So now you just know that Brian Ortega is the real deal. T-City, like, could be a top guy for the UFC in the future. So that's huge. And then thoughts with Kevin Lee and Edson Barboza. Like, first of all, who do you think is going to win the fight?
It's tough. It really is. I mean, Barboza's got his kicks, his stand-up. Lee can go to the ground, grappling-wise.
Yep.
And we saw what happened with Khabib, like you said, with Barboza.
Yep.
So if Kevin can get Edson down and keep him down like Khabib kept him down, that's a wrap.
Yep.
But if Barboza can sprawl, keep that fight standing, it's his.
There's also interesting things, right? It's a 5-round fight, right? So Kevin Lee is going to be in danger eventually with strikes.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Now, credit to him, though. He did have a staph infection on his chest when he fought Tony Ferguson, and I don't think a lot of people know that or remember that.
Right.
But I do think that had something to do with his weight cut and all of it. So I think he's going to come in better shape. What worried me about him, though, is he fought like a front runner. I mean, he actually dropped Tony. He got on top of Tony. He finished very strong in the first round, and then he just faded. And you don't want to fade against Edson Barboza. Like, that's a terrible idea. And also, I think that Kevin is pretty confident in his ability standing, and that's not a fun game to play with Edson Barboza.
No.
When you're talking about a guy that I think could be a big star, I think Kevin Lee could be a big star. I think the UFC wants him to win this fight. I think it would be huge if he can win this fight, because you want a guy like that in title contention, because he can talk. He brings a different demographic to the UFC. I think he can be a star. So I'm definitely rooting for Kevin Lee, but I would not be surprised at all if Edson Barboza beats him.
And like we mentioned before at the top of the video, the winner of this is in the mix for a big fight, right? I don't think fighting Khabib for the title.
This winner can very well fight Dustin Poirier.
Right.
I think that's more of what we could be looking at.
Whether it be Poirier
or Eddie Alvarez,
Tony Ferguson, Conor, who knows?
Right.
We need to see how everything's going to play
Nate
out.
Diaz.
You don't really know. I mean, the lightweight division is where it's at right now.
Yeah.
That's where everybody's talking about this group of guys versus every other division is 1 or 2 guys we're typically talking about.
Right.
Lightweight division's really been where it's at the last few years, though.
I agree.
We asked you guys on Twitter, our followers, submit some questions. Right out of the gate, we got plenty of them. We got the first one here. Masada's under fire. Do you think Vince is looking to sell the company as far as WWE?
I've heard rumors that he actually keeps saying that WWE is for sale. I do feel like it would have to be a big number, and just like kind of like the UFC, like if somebody offered the WWE $4 billion, like he might sell. I'm not kidding.
You know he's been offered it numerous times before, though.
Definitely.
He just never has.
But now it's kind of like he's looking at the XFL.
Right.
I don't think his passion is as strong. I mean, I definitely think he cares about the business. Don't get me wrong. But I think he's feeling more like this is Hunter's stuff now, and so. I don't know. I think it would have to be a deal that would blow them away. I've also heard that like Disney might be interested, which scares the living hell out of me. And first of all, Disney, what else do you need? Like you have Marvel, you have Star Wars, you have your Disney universe, like you're about to own Fox. Like this is becoming, you're about to be bigger than the government. So like I don't know.
I think he's too invested. He's got a family.
I agree.
Invested in the entire time. I don't know what it would take for him to sell that company. You know, there's been huge offers out there.
I agree.
We haven't heard about them. And I think especially now with the future being built, NXT, with the way Trips has been setting that whole thing up, why even sell at this point? You already have a great model for the future. You've already now got it intact.
It would have to be something of a, like I said, somewhat selfish move, and it also have to be something that like blew him away. And I'm sure all the family members would get a piece of it and all that stuff, but I don't see it. But would it shock me? I don't know if it would shock me. I think that he's more open to it than he ever has been. I think a lot of it has to be how much the UFC got. I think he's blown away by that number. So, yeah.
Speaking of NXT, next question is, who do you think should initially defeat Aleister Black for the NXT title?
To me, I think Aleister should have probably a good title reign. But if you're talking about who I think should win to beat him, probably be Adam Cole, baby. Or I think him and Velveteen Dream could have a great feud in the main event. Like, I think that they are so opposite. And the fans loved that match so much, and I think if it had like main event build and they redid that match, they revisited that match, I think that could be one heck of a program as well.
It's not a bad idea. If anything, it would elevate Dream. I think Dream would be great chasing the North American title, which Adam Cole just won first champion for that title.
Also, I wouldn't sleep on EC3. I think EC3 could kind of pass that whole North American title after a little bit and go.
He's a big guy.
And go for a WWE title, an NXT title. Right. But my preference would be Adam Cole to kind of have like a dominant title reign with his belt. Aleister Black to have a dominant title with his belt. And then eventually they face each other and Adam Cole wins.
That's a great way to put it. Even Aleister Black, the way they built him, he came in a year ago. They've kept him basically undefeated, at least for all the TakeOver shows. And then culminated a year later after he debuts at a TakeOver in Orlando to wrestle the same guy and Cien Almas, defeat him for the title. Like you're saying, I'm totally on board. NXT's been good about giving people a long range and really putting meaning behind their titles as well.
And usually when the guy loses the belt, he gets called up. Like, that's kind of how they've been doing it. Right. So, like I said, I wouldn't mind if maybe Aleister Black had almost a year title reign, and then he gets called up.
And I think that's what they're doing with Adam Cole with the North American title. Really solidify that title, give Cole a nice reign with it, then let it go right up to the NXT title, whether it be Black or whoever's got it at that point.
Plus, it adds more credibility to the Undisputed Era. So you have the Undisputed Era. They all have the belts right now. It just looks good. And they're all former Ring of Honor guys. So, like, who doesn't want an Undisputed Era t-shirt right now? I have one. So, yeah, I'm all for what NXT's doing. But, I mean, there's guys like Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, EC3, Adam Cole. Like, I would be down for any of those. The Velveteen Dream. Like, there's so many guys right now that could be in that main event spot with him.
What about Gargano, Ciampa? Why didn't they get called up? I thought they were shooing to just go to the roster.
I think Gargano's just killing it too much that they're not going to do that. Plus, Gargano's the type of guy that he just has that, like, we don't know what to do with you in the WWE all over it. You know what I mean? Like, keep him in NXT, let him just keep having killer matches. I wouldn't even be surprised if they made face Aleister Black, just made him the #1 contender and he faced Aleister Black. So, I mean, that match would be awesome. With Ciampa, I don't know what they do with him. I mean, he's still a top heel, so they could do some stuff with him too.
He's a top heel company.
Yeah, yeah.
Who do you see on the UFC roster could be their next big hit? There's not really any true stars that are just selling millions of pay-per-views right now. Connor's dealing with what he's dealing with.
Well, and I heard one question too was like, can the UFC operate without Conor McGregor? And the question is yes. Like, people are interested in Conor McGregor, but this machine keeps rolling. And in my opinion, the best thing to do is have the best fight the best, and eventually stars will be made. Like, that's what will happen. Guys that come on my top off my head, Brian Ortega, T-City, Khabib. I think Khabib could be like your Triple G of the UFC. And I think by Conor just even attacking Khabib, it's already kind of given him the rub, and people are like, oh, wow, like, this guy must be really legit. Then they look at his record, they see he's undefeated, he's really never even lost a round, has a huge fan base in Russia. So I think Khabib could be a big star. I think Cyborg could be a big star. If she goes out there and she just crushes Amanda Nunes in one of the upcoming fights, I think that there's no denying that people will pay to see Cyborg. Max Holloway. Really, the winner of Max Holloway and Brian Ortega could really break out. And I know that, not all of them are charismatic and all that stuff, but you get different types of stars, right? Like, even if John Jones wasn't such a knucklehead and all that stuff, just based on greatness, people will buy pay-per-views to see him.
We had like with Anderson Silva. He didn't talk. He didn't really speak that much English. He could understand it.
Yep.
And he basically took the long road. His streak is what sold the pay-per-views. His greatness is what sold the pay-per-views. Eventually, not right out of the gate. It took a while.
I agree.
But then when you even have the argument of Chael Sonnen really helped him break through as well, and it did.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Colby Covington, dude, you are trying way too hard. Way too hard. And I don't think he beats RDA either. And I think that RDA will be the clear number one contender for Tyron Woodley, and I'm so ready for Woodley to fight somebody. I'm so over it. Also, like, if Darren Till goes in there and just steamrolls Wonder Boy, he could be a big star.
Which I think could be a tough test for him.
I agree.
Because Thompson's going to keep his distance.
I agree.
He's not just going to go in there and brawl like a Cowboy Cerrone.
I agree.
That was the perfect fight for Till to really.
The only thing that I like about Till, though, is his striking is very effective. So if he does land a shot, he will hurt him. And so, if he goes in there to just mix it up with him, he might be able to land something serious that could hurt him. So he could be a big star.
And your current champions now, Steve Miocic, Daniel Cormier, they're not selling million pay-per-views.
Yeah.
They are pretty much the biggest stars in UFC right now.
Yeah.
Maybe could be kind of on the cusp of it as well.
Right.
Demetrius Johnson should be their biggest star, but
another one is TJ Dillashaw, because if he goes and beats Cody again, and they don't set up that Mighty Mouse fight, like, I don't know what to say, but if he goes and beats Cody again, like, he can be right up there too, because you're talking about a guy that is looking really impressive, and he might be able to steamroll the division for a while.
And I don't want to get to that fight. I don't want to see 4 more months of that same build-up again. We went all last year with them building up that fight. We finally got through it. I'm afraid one of those two guys are going to get hurt again. They're going to prolong it. This is the rematch after we got the first fight after a year build-up.
Or they're going to have some 8th-ranked fighter step in and fight him. Yeah, exactly. Right. So it is what it is.
There's Rose as well. Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, Rose. Champion. And Rose is up there. I mean, just give some time. Like, I know that everybody wants that next Conor, but Conor's like a once-in-a-lifetime type of deal. Like, these guys just don't come around very often. That's why he's such a huge star. But I've been watching this thing for a really long time, and there's always somebody that comes out of nowhere. There's always a Ronda. There's always a Conor. There's always something, and eventually they show up, and we're off, and we're ready to watch the next one, and then they become even bigger after every fight. And I think the hardest thing in this era right now is so many guys, blood, sweat, and tears for the company, gave so much and didn't get paid a lot. And then they get paid now whenever they fight, and it's almost to the point where they take that money and they're done. They're retired. They had a heck of a run. And so it's hard because you don't have your Nate Diaz's, you don't have your Nate Diaz's, you don't have your George St. Pierre's, you don't have stuff like that because these guys have made a lot of money and they weren't making a lot of money when they were in their prime. You know what I mean? So you run into that issue as well. Also, you just run into guys who just think that they deserve title shots or big money fights. Your Tyron Woodley's, your basically anybody, your Eddie Alvarez right now, your Dustin Poirier's, like anybody that's even in the top 5 thinks automatically they deserve a title shot or a big money fight and all this stuff. And sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
But you're seeing it happen like that because they have got to figure out the pay structure.
I agree.
They want to make a lot of money on a fight, a big money deal, and they want to be done.
Yep.
And there's so much money that they could actually be earning. Why are we still having bonuses given out? There's that whole argument too. Why don't they just all get, here's what you're going to make.
Yep.
Don't just show up and you get double the money for a win or you get performance of the night. Then you have the whole Reebok gear and with no sponsors.
Yep.
So once they get to a certain point, like Doug's saying, they want to cash out.
Right.
So if there's more money up front, they're going to want to keep coming back.
I agree. So basically, we just have the Barboza Lee thing this weekend. Is there anything else going on this weekend?
That's it for this weekend. We're going to plan to do a post show for that. We're trying to do post shows for basically the main card, whether it be wrestling, WWE, even the big Ring of Honor, New Japan cards coming up this summer.
Yeah.
We'll do shows for, basically whenever we can.
Right.
UFC. Even a Bellator.
Yeah, if it's worth, I mean, Frank Mir and Fedor's coming up, so that's kind of worthy.
We'll do the fun ones, like nights when there's like a Saturday night when there's a Bellator and a Ring of Honor or whatever.
Yeah,
well, that'll be fun post shows.
Yeah,
we're trying to do the double screen.
Yeah, we won't be doing the live thing anymore. It takes away the enjoyment for us, to be honest with you, and it's also just a lot to see. Like when you're live streaming, the quality just keeps deteriorating off and on, off and on. You don't know if you're on, you don't know if you're off. Like it's just frustrating. But like I said, we'll be doing this type of platform where we'll be answering questions, and also going over everything that's happening this week. We'll also be doing exclusive content for the From All Angles page as well. So we might be doing videos just strictly for that. We might just be doing stuff here. It just depends. Like we're going to be doing advertisements of maybe like a preview vid, and then you might have to jump to another channel. We're trying to get both channels going. So I need you guys to subscribe to Justin on his page, From All Angles. We're both on it, but I need you guys to subscribe to that, and I also need you to follow Justin on Twitter. Because we're both interactive in this thing. So I appreciate it. I'm bitter as hell. I'm throwing up the X all year because we cut Des Bryant, and I'm still upset about it, and I'm going to be upset about it, so y'all have to deal with me complaining on Twitter because it's bull crap. Anyways, you got anything else to say, Justin?
That'll be it, guys. Like I said, plans to check in with you guys starting tonight after Barboza versus Lee, and plans to do this every week, these videos. And really just be interactive with you guys. Keep sending the questions. Use the hashtag From All Angles. We'll see you guys later. Thanks, y'all.